Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our weekly market outlook here with NorFX. Now, we're going to begin by looking at the economic calendar for the week as to what we can expect, what is out, and what we could expect to, for the week to move the currencies in terms of fundamentals. Now, if you notice, we are in the last trading week of the month. For some of you that know me, this particular times, I try to stay very, very cautious. You'd see very irrational movement in the market. If you're on the right side and it's going in your favor, very good. But if you're on the wrong side and you're not careful, these are where accounts get blown. So it's very, very important to, especially during these times we're living in, basically, to always use proper risk management. So in terms of fundamentals, you could see, as we have on our screen here, the news expectations for the week. On Monday today, being the 26th of September, we have the ECB president would also give a speech, as regarding the European economy. And, depending on how the market reacts to it, you can see his high impacts, depending on how he sounds, whether he sounds more dovish than hawkish. You could expect further collapse in the, further drop in the euro. It has been very, very weak, at least against most pairs. It has been weak against majority of pairs. I think it's only been strong against the pound. But beside the pound, it's actually been weak for a while. And then we also had the German IFO business climate, which came out at 84.3, which is worse than expected. And that was by 9 a.m. today. Now, by tomorrow, there's also the Fed chairman, the Federal Reserve Bank of America, would have a speech from the chairman of it. It's also high impact. Market participants will be looking to see how optimistic he sounds as to figure out if we're going to see more rate hikes and how much more we could expect. And then there's also the CB consumer confidence. Would also want to keep track of this one, because whether it comes out worse than expected or better than expected, it could have a very, very large impact, especially seeing how the CPI reports was, I think, about 2 weeks ago. So you could just skim through this. Remember, personally, I don't trade the news. I just pay attention to the major events so that I can figure out where to probably stay away from the market or, wait for it. I don't want to be chasing volatility. I want to ride it. So if I'm looking to get into a position and it's just around the period where the news is coming out, I might want to wait for the news to trickle down and then see how to play it from there. But keep in mind, on Thursday, there's going to be the GDP reports from CAD. It's expected to be minus 0.1. It was previously 0.1, but we'll see what this one turns out to be. This I will be keeping a close in mind. And then there's also NZD reports and also USD reports on Thursday and on Friday. So that said, we jump straight to the interesting part, which is actually the charts, and we look at certain instruments and what we could expect on them. Okay. Now, let us begin by looking at the DXY. So let's look at the DXY. So the DXY is the dollar index. It measures the strength of the dollar against the major currency baskets, right? So, and for the longest of time, like I keep saying, we have been bullish and we'll continue to look to see this thing go higher. You could see how the dollar has been very strong, and you'd notice this in the way price has been reacting in things like euro dollar, pounds dollar. It's been actually very, very strong. Now, if you look at this, there's no reason to, we could see some healthy retracements, but as long as price keep taking out highs, there's no reason to start looking for this to pull back. So, the dollar, the US economy might be weak, but the dollar itself would probably continue to strengthen, especially if the political climate keeps looking the way it is. So the dollar is strong. We could expect more bullishness in it going into, we could see some retracements, but even those retracements, even those pullbacks will just be healthy retracements to then continue forward. So keep that in mind, because those become healthy retracements to keep going forward. We could keep seeing things like this where the market pulls back only to go up. So in this kind of system, in this kind of markets, I personally like to pay attention to pullbacks. I want to, trade when the market is pulling back. I want that to become sorry, when the market is making those pullbacks, I want to trade them. I want to trade the pullbacks in the direction of the market, not selling it, but looking for opportunity to buy. So if we see this pullback down, look for opportunity to continue long. Okay, so that's on the DXY. Now, if the DXY is showing strength, it means dollar strength. We could also expect to see dollar strength against across board on the major dollar basket. So let's look at the most popular currency, which is EURUSD. And so notice this, right? So I had this drawn out. I was talking about this to you guys, I think sometime ago, I think it was last week or thereabout, or sometime, saying we could expect to continue to see this lows get taken out, because while we're in a bearish market, most likely would continue in that state. Now, so I noticed this very, very beautiful downward channel, which price has been making for over 8 months thereabouts. Price has been very bearish. And has been in this clean channel. You could see how this from the beginning, from this area here, it has tapped the upper side of it as resistance multiple times, and we had this last rejection here. And then also we have this lower part, which price has also rejected multiple times as well as supports. And the most latest as to where price is now, price came down very shy of supports, like the channel supports. So looking at this type of pattern, obviously the best areas to look to get involved are to try and sell resistance. But if you could also get involved looking to buy support, trading this channel could also be a very good one if you obviously use proper risk management. So let's see. Let's take this off. So what could you be looking out for? Remember, we said dollar strength. So if dollar is strong, then we could expect continuous downwardness or bearishness on euro dollar. However, we also said we could see some healthy retracement. So, good and fine, we could begin to pull back up. But remember, in this kind of market, pullbacks like this are usually the thing I'm most interested in. Yeah, if I find a very good setup, I will be looking to participate, maybe buy it up towards something like this, and then look for the continuation to sell back down. However, long term, for patterns like this, the market tends to break out higher, right? But it's not our business to figure out or to try and guess when or where that would happen from. What we want to do is try and treat the pattern right before us. So as a stand, what could you look to do? Now, today's candle is appearing to form some sort of a bullish spin bar. If that holds, good and fine for buyers, at least temporarily. But I could also, I wouldn't be surprised if, let's say, we have a bullish candle and then tomorrow's candle also turns out to be bullish, but maybe comes back down, spike, something like this, and then close back up. I would like some, if we see the markets behave like that, I would actually be interested in buying this thing towards this, trend line or channel resistance, right? So if price, let's say close bearish like this, or maybe close bullish, but maybe again, price comes back down, actually taps into this region, I could, obviously, I would want to see some confirmation, based on the way I trade, maybe some Y-curve distribution or some Y-curve accumulation, some break of structure within a smaller time frame. And then I would be interested in maybe buying this thing up, taking it all toward this area. And then, but more importantly, I'll be looking to sell this back down, because my interest on this one is actually mainly on the sell side, because the market is bearish. Remember, the trend is your friend until it's broken. So as far as this market is still bearish like this and not taking out highs, well, the market is still bearish, right? Even if price starts pulling back up and comes toward here, it's still a bearish market, because you can see it is low high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. So until price start making higher highs and higher highs and higher highs, do we actually be coming to a bullish market? But as far as we're concerned, the retracements like this provide excellent opportunity to continue in the overall trend, and that is what we'll still be looking to do here. So if price start retracing up, I would be looking to participate in the buying to get into the position, into some possible trade, but those will be small positions because I'm trading against the trend. But more importantly, I'll be looking for maybe some sort of a trend line break to continue selling if we get confirmation. Okay, so EURUSD, that is my outlook for the week. For the week, I expect we would see some strength. You will see some euro strength that could maybe get price to start going up. And that will be, so my best play will be to look for some short-term opportunity to buy, so then look for some long-term opportunity to continue to sell, okay? Okay, so that's euro dollar, my outlook as to how I might be approaching it. Also, pound dollar, the pound has been stupidly weak. The pound has been extremely weak, and it's crazy. It's been insane, as you know, against all instruments, actually, the pound has been weak. I can't say what exactly is the real cause. Is it the death of the queen? Is it what exactly is it? So now, this one, actually, what you might want to look now, the fact that price is bearish like this, and as you know, is appearing to make some sort of a bullish setup, I wouldn't want to force buys on this type of market. Actually, if anything, I would want to wait for further sales. So basically, I'm not looking for an opportunity to buy this thing. I'm just looking for an opportunity to get involved in the sell side, right? So what do I mean? So first off, let's just have this here just to keep that in mind. Anyway, it's not a perfect trend line. But here is, let's go to the 4-hour chart. Okay, so here is an area I would be interested in looking for opportunities to sell. Because in this one, I actually only want to look for selling opportunities. So I would be interested in looking for sell opportunity if price were to find its way all the way up here, right? So if market begins to retrace, some of you might be aggressive and want to get involved. I probably wouldn't, but then I'll be looking for price to get up into this red zone and then look for some sort of confirmation to continue selling down, right? So that's the way I'm playing. I'll be looking to play this. Look at this imbalance here, this big imbalance candle. There's a tendency price might want to fill it, and then maybe before going continuing in the bearish direction, which it has, price may actually come up even deeper. So it might pull up towards something like this. It is perfectly fine. But within any of these two regions, if I find confirmation, you know, some sort of distribution schematics within these areas, I'll be interested in selling. Or let's say we have price forming a very good trend line, you know, forming a very good pattern into these areas, and then we have some sort of wedge pattern or trend line break. You know, this will be more like a counter trend line break, because this trend will be a mini trend as opposed to the overall trend. If we get that counter trend line break, we could use that as confirmation to then continue to sell. My targets would still be, you know, my overall target on this would be this low here, which price has appeared to make, right? So, what do you call it? On GU, I am still very bearish on this one, even though price is kind of oversold. Price is not divergent, so there's no reason to start looking for a retracement. But price is oversold. We could see some temporary pullback up, but I'm only interested in looking for those pullbacks to sell them. Okay. Then there is AUDCAD. So Aussie Swiss. The Aussie Swiss is one I actually like, right? So Aussie Swiss is one I actually really like. I sent out this one on the Telegram channel, last week, Friday, I think. I sent out a Telegram channel last week, Friday, looking for bullishness, right? Looking for bullishness on this, for price to come into this area and then look for pullback up. So price has actually come in and tap into the zone. It didn't really go as deep as I thought it would, but price appeared to be pushing away from it. Now, here's the thing. If you're able to get involved here, good and fine, hold on to your trades. Obviously, your stop loss, you try and manage your trades as it goes your way. But as it stands personally, so if we drop down to the 15-minute time frame, this is one thing I like, you know, about this. Price tapped into it, made this, you know, ranged a little bit here like this. So it's more like Y curve accumulation. So we have our PS as preliminary support, selling climax automatically, ST in phase B. We have our you know, uptrust, and we have our ISO, you know, sign of strength to then push up. So with this break here is the above this region, it kind of like showing us that maybe, just maybe, price may be ready to start pushing up. Now, I don't want to, I personally wouldn't want to buy this thing here, probably want to wait for better price. So here's what to take notes. It's possible price would come down and clear out all the lows before going up. I know this is a possibility. There's also the possibility that it doesn't happen and price just breaks down and continue going down. So, which is why we all obviously want to make sure we're using proper risk management and don't trade without an exit area. Okay, so now there's also the chance, because price has shown its hand and it's probably ready to start pushing up. If price drops down into this area, I will be interested in looking for confirmation to actually start buying to take this up. So my trade would look something of sorts, obviously with confirmation, where my, my risk would be something like this, and I'll be going after this, right? Now, but this would be with confirmation. That means I don't just place pending orders. I want price to get into an area I'm interested in, and I want to see how price delivers within that area, and then look for confirmation to actually start buying. So I like this one. I like the fact that price is reacting the way it is. There's also the chance price doesn't pull back, which is also fine, and continues to move up. I don't like chasing the market. Okay, but if we get a pullback, a healthy pullback, and I find confirmation, I'll be interested in looking to buy this one. Okay. Also, let us also look at Euro CHF. So everybody saw what CHF did last week. It was insane. Like CHF, and they raised their interest rates. It went up from minus 0.25. They had negative interest rates for. I think they're the only banks that have not raised their interest rates since COVID. They had negative interest rates for a long time, and they raised it from minus 0.25 to plus 0.75. Right? No, plus 0.5. That's almost an increase, almost a 200% increase in rate. So, which was why we saw this movement, irrational movement in the Swiss. If you had looked at, so I think you'll see that in Swiss yen. Swiss yen dropped over 700 pips in an hour. This whole move here happened in almost an hour. This big candle here. So look at it. This whole move here happened in just about, let's just say 4 hours. But it started with the release of that news, and in about an hour, it dropped about 700 pips. If you measure that from top to bottom, that was a drop of, an insane 770 something pips. So crazy movement like that. And I don't expect that we have seen the last of those kind of movements in price. Okay, so Euro Swiss is one I like. I like this one, especially because of what price is doing now, right? So let me go down to the smaller time. Let's go down to 60 minutes. So now I was actually looking at this area to buy. Fortunately, I didn't get involved in it, but I think it was early in the morning. I wasn't on my charts, so there was no way for me to confirm my price. Now, price came down, broke below this low, and now pushed back up, right? So price broke below and is now pushing back up. Now, but here's the thing that is interesting to me. I was expecting this low to hold. But the way price is reacting since breaking down, you could see how it broke below, more like liquidity grab, and immediately pushed back up. So if you look at the daily charts, you would see that it's like a big bullish pin bar. So let me hide something. You can see this is the push below, and then it pushed back up. So sellers came in, pushed price down, buyers aggressively pushed price up, or whatever the smart money induced selling, and then infuse an injection of buys. So now if today's candle end up closing, bullish as it is, right? Which is this now becoming a pin bar. I wouldn't be surprised that we begin to see an actual run. So what I mean is, I was actually looking for opportunities to buy, expecting that we'll probably come down to where price actually is where sellers or buyers are interested in defending price. And this more like manipulation here is interesting to me, because what it does is it induces sellers and then traps them, and now buyers are pushing price up. So something like this, right? This pin bar, so this one. Now imagine that candle when it was happening. Price has been going up. We had this big bullish candle. We also had this big bearish candle, right? Now this big bearish candle here would have caused a lot of people to feel, oh, it's time for price to start going down. Now, what do? They start selling. Where do they keep their stop loss? Just some of them here, some of them here, you know. And price just does this. It wicks up, grab all the liquidity to the top side, and then closes back down. And you can see how price drops, right? And so if we look at that same scenario here, this big bullish candle here would have served as a catalyst to assume that, okay, price is ready to start going up. And then this follow-up bearish candle, a lot of people might be interested in getting involved. Stop losses just below here. Now, I know some of you will be thinking, that means I shouldn't put stop loss. Well, that is very risky. If you don't, and let's say in this case, price begins to go up, you're blowing your account too. So it's better you take a small loss than, you know, blow up your account. So which is why you have to plan your trades and then execute your plans. And then before you, anyway, make sure you attend the risk management class by in about 2-3 hours from now. We'll discuss more on trade psychology and risk management. Okay, so looking at the way the markets reacted, now this is an if, I need to see this candle close the way it is, either like this or better. I mean, the candle needs to close bullish, just as it already is now. If that were the case, if that happens, I believe we'll see this thing go back up to maybe this area, maybe even back up to this area. So this one, keep close in mind, depending on how the candle closes today. Okay. Okay. Now GBPUSD, I was looking at something just now before the class. Interested in selling actually. Yeah, so I was looking at this and I'm still looking at it. I'm interested in looking for a sale. So this might just be a live trade opportunity to get involved. Now, look at how price, okay, this market is bearish. It has been bearish for a long time. This is the 15-minute chart. This is what the daily chart looks like, right? You can see this, right? And then we have this same, what I call it now. Let me see the weekly chart. So we have this same type of breakdown and a break back up. Now, I'm actually looking for a short term, or just a continuation in the overall direction. I believe we could see this thing continue to move back down. So I'm looking for a scalping type opportunity. So on this is the 15-minute time frame. And so I was looking, I think that was the 5 minutes. Yeah. So if we just try and trace the price structure, those high, well, high, right? So price has actually been making this move. So you can see this is more like the clear structure I can see. So now what I would like to see then is for price to break this low. Right now, if you're aggressive and you're willing to jump in, you can look to trade something like this where you keep your stop loss just above this high, around 1.066, and then maybe go after some of these lows. Not necessarily this one. You might want to take profit as price is moving your way if price begins to move your way. But one thing I would like to see now to really get involved would be for some sort of break of structure. So if I go down even further, I want to see price actually start breaking down, maybe taking out new lows, right? And then I will be interested in getting involved with this one. Okay, so I think those are the instruments I really wanted to talk about today. And remember, tomorrow, Cutting Edge Trading Room, we'll be looking at it's a live trading class where we'll be looking to analyze the market for most of the instruments and see what we could or how we could approach it, right? So we discussed the DXY, Euro dollar, Pound dollar, Aussie Swiss, Euro Swiss, and Pound Swiss. There's also so we had a trade on dollar yen last week, which is going quite as planned. Yeah, That's the 15 minutes. Yeah, so I sent out this one on the Telegram channel, and I don't know how many of you were able to get involved. This one price came in exactly, tapped into our region, and so our risk to reward on this one is more like 1:13. So we're risking 1 to try and make 13. If we're wrong, we lose just 1%. If we're right, we make about 13. So it's obviously depending on the percentage you risk. And so this one is still going as nice. I sent out an update this morning saying you should at least move your stop loss to break even, maybe even take some partial profit off this one. But for so far so good. I'm break even on this one, and I'm waiting to see how far price gets. I'm interested in continuing to see maybe bullishness up, but I'll be taking the majority of profits if price were to get all the way up here. Okay, so that will be it for me. I'm sure some of you have some questions. At this point, I think, let's see how many minutes we have. We don't have much time, but I can take one question. I hope you enjoyed the class. Remember, I will be uploading this on the YouTube channel. It's NorFX Pro on YouTube. And then you can rewatch it if you probably want to go through it again. Remember, while you're there, make sure you try and leave a like or a comment and subscribe to the channel, okay? So thank you everybody for joining in. I hope you enjoyed the class, and I hope to see you guys in the next training tomorrow for clients only. So tomorrow's class is for funded clients only, and I'm expecting to see you there.